And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
What Ryan Reynolds, has seemingly done, right, is used his power and influence to not only help Blake Lively take over this movie, but, he's used it, on Deadpool and to make fun of Justin Baldoni.
Joe Rogan just put Ryan Reynolds on blast, and the timing couldn't be worse. With Marvel allegedly, Ryan Reynolds for destroying the Deadpool franchise fans are starting to turn on Hollywood's favorite wisecracking anti-hero. Is this the biggest downfall of his career? Or just another Marvel mess? Let's break it all down because this story is absolutely insane. So here's the scoop for years. Ryan Reynolds was Marvel's golden boy. He wasn't just playing Deadpool. He was practically the face of the franchise, bringing a level of creative freedom that no other MCU star had. But behind the scenes, things started to shift. Reports suggest that Marvel executives began growing concerned about how much influence Ryan was exerting over the Deadpool franchise. Unlike other Marvel stars who simply showed up, acted, and let the studio handle the business, Ryan was deeply involved in Deadpool's production. He had a say in the script casting and marketing, and that gave him real power. At first, Marvel saw this as a good thing. After all, Ryan single-handedly saved Deadpool from development, hell-pushing to get the first film made after leaking test footage in 2014. But as time went on, insiders claimed that Ryan began pushing his influence even further. And that's where Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni come into play. Blake Lively had signed on to a film directed by Justin Baldoni, called It Ends With Us on paper, It Ends With Us, had all the makings of a successful film, an adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, a talented cast, and a director with a reputation for emotional storytelling. But beneath the surface, things weren't as seamless as they seemed at first. The reported issues between Blake and Baldoni appeared to be minor creative disagreements, the kind that often arise on film sets. Blake, known for her meticulous approach to her career, had always been deeply involved in the creative direction of her projects. However, sources claimed that she started feeling sidelined as Baldoni took on not just the director's chair, but also the roles of co-writer and lead actor. This level of control gave him significant influence over how the story was shaped, how characters were developed, and ultimately how the film would be perceived. Industry insiders suggest that Blake had envisioned her character as the emotional core of the movie, but she soon realized that much of the spotlight was on Bal, his vision, his performance, his adaptation of the beloved novel. This reportedly didn't sit well with her. Some sources claimed that she pushed for rewrites, arguing that her character needed a stronger arc and a more central role in the narrative. While it's not uncommon for actors to have input on their roles, those close to the production claim that tensions began to rise as Blake's requests for changes started conflicting with Baldoni's creative vision.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. There's one thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just pissed me off. Those I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already, like, I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. And I just haven't had a chance to send it to you.
As the power struggle escalated, rumors began circulating that Blake was growing increasingly frustrated with how the film was being positioned in the media. She reportedly felt that promotional materials and press coverage were emphasizing Baldoni's involvement over hers. Some claimed that she even considered stepping away from the project at one point, feeling that her contributions weren't being valued as much as she had expected. Then came the real twist. The accusations Blake allegedly believed that Baldoni was leaking negative press about her painting her as difficult, demanding, and controlling on set. If true, this would be a serious allegation, as Hollywood has a long history of female actors being unfairly labeled as difficult when they assert their creative opinions. However, just when the public began sympathizing with Blake's side of the story, a shocking development changed everything. Leaked text messages surfaced, and instead of painting Baldoni as the mastermind behind the media attacks, they seemed to suggest that Blake was the one orchestrating a behind-the-scenes strategy to control the narrative in these texts. She allegedly referred to her allies, including her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as her dragons. This phrase immediately sparked speculation. Was she rallying her Hollywood connections to shift the media perception in her favor? Did she have industry insiders working behind the scenes to push back against Baldwin's influence? And that's when Marvel started paying attention. Because if Blake was leveraging Ryan's influence to shift power in Hollywood, could Ryan have been doing the same inside Marvel? That's when executives reportedly began digging into Ryan's role in Deadpool 3, and what they found may have pushed them to take legal action, as if things weren't already messy. Insiders claimed that Ryan took direct shots at Justin Baldoni, and in Deadpool 3 and Marvel executives were furious when they found out. Now, Deadpool movies have always been known for their self-aware humor, with Ryan regularly breaking the fourth wall to poke fun at celebrities' movie studios, and even the MCU itself, but according to reports, Deadpool 3 contained multiple jokes that directly mocked Boney, and they weren't just harmless jabs.
And I guess you've already met Mary Poppins, aka Dogpool. Careful where you put your hand, she's 90% G-spot, and she'll let you know it. You let this little flirt out of your sight for 1 second and she starts shopping for a new papa. If you can't be a responsible pet owner, then maybe you don't deserve this little unicorn. Guilty on all charges, Your Honor. Shan't happen again.
Here's where things get super messy, according to insiders. This was a thinly veiled jab at Baldoni, whose reputation in Hollywood is built around his inspirational, feel-good approach to filmmaking. But the jokes didn't stop there. Another scene reportedly had Deadpool mocking a Hollywood director turned actor who insisted on starring in his own films, despite being unqualified for the role. Again, this lined up suspiciously well with Baldwin's real-life role as both director and lead actor in his upcoming movie, with Blake Marvel executives allegedly stepped in and demanded rewrites, fearing that these jokes would open the studio up to legal backlash. While some jokes may have been cut from early screenings, insiders claim that Ryan fought to keep them in the final cut, leading to tensions between him and Marvel's higher-ups. And this wasn't just about 1 or 2 jokes. Marvel prides itself on maintaining strong relationships with directors and actors. If one of their biggest stars was using a major MCU film to settle personal scores that was a serious issue, that's when Marvel began reviewing Ryan's influence on the franchise, questioning whether his control over Deadpool was becoming a liability.
Well, that is also accurate and weirdly high praise as well. It was just one of those. It felt like a live-action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
Yes.
There was almost no blood at all. I think I got a little paper cut on the movie. That was about it. And something that my kids can watch, but also as a parent, too, you want the parents need to get punched right in the heart as well.